Unairudishia huko jana.
Sidi yake anaenda kupata.
Yeye anaenda kupata. Atapata.
Hey. Atasaka. Sidi hiyo.
Ndio amepata. She has kids.
She's so fun.
My name is Emmanuel Olande. I am the owner of Extreme Canine Kenya. I board and train dogs, and we supply dog shampoo. We also make leashes and pet beds. Currently, I own 5 dogs, which are mine personally, and the rest belong to clients who have either traveled, some are working abroad, and some just keep the dogs here when they go to work and collect them in the evening. Maximum we can board up to 30 dogs. So currently we are almost at full capacity. So we are at number 25, 5 being mine. So 20 belong to other people. When I was born, and I found dogs in the compound. So I can't remember the exact memory the first time I fell in love with dogs, but we had dogs always. We had German Shepherds, we had mongrels. We always had dogs in our compound. And for some reason, I really bonded with the dogs. My elder sister, the eldest, also bonded with dogs. So my passion for dogs started at infancy. I would love hanging around with them, walking with them, playing with them. When they had puppies, I could hardly get myself out of the den where they were with the puppies. Generally, I have a passion for animals, not dogs alone. Dogs being what I can keep legally because of KWS and stuff like that. But I love animals. I really love animals, and I have a passion for dogs, and it's inborn, and also part of my upbringing has, like, I'd say maybe 99% of my love for dogs comes from my upbringing. There's an uncle of mine who gave my dad pedigree dogs, and once my dad started keeping pedigree dogs, that was it. Now we cut back on the kienyeji ones, but we still had like 1 or 2 in the compound alongside the pedigree ones. And then the dogs were also very protective. So when I was working with a dog, I wouldn't be bullied, and I wouldn't fall prey to any sort of harassment. So the protective instinct and nature of dogs just actually bonded with me, because it also ties in with my career line. I'm in close protection and counterterrorism consultancy. So, like, dogs are protectors, and I myself have become a protector. So I say it's something that was ordained from the beginning. I can't give you the exact spark that said, voila, now I want to keep dogs, or now I want to do this. No. Mine personally, I have pit bulls, I have German Shepherds, I have Great Danes, and also have a Cocker Spaniel. Yeah. And currently we are boarding dogs that belong to clients. We have Labradors, we have Golden Retrievers, we have Japanese Spitz, we have Basset Hounds. We also have the local dogs, the kienyeji, yeah, among others. The feeding of a dog is similar to that of a human. So, like, a bigger dog will consume more than a smaller breed dog. So, for example, I'll give you the 2 extremities, which is the small breeds, the toy breeds, the ones that people love, the white ones, the fluffy ones like Japanese Spitz. Those ones eat the least. And then the giant breeds like Great Dane, South African Borbal, English Mastiff, those ones eat the most because they are giant breeds and they grow up to maybe 70 to 100 kilos, while the toy dogs are maybe maximum 15 kilos. So when you own a toy dog, definitely you're not going to be spending more on food than the person who owns a giant breed. Dogs have 2 types of diets, which is dry and wet diet. The wet diet is the natural diet, the same as what you're eating at home, or maybe you can cook for it rice and meat, or ugali and meat and something like that. The dry diet is the commercially available feeds that you buy from the supermarket. That involves the dog biscuits and the pellets. So if you're using commercial feeds to feed, let's say, a dog that is about 15 kilos, 100 grams a day would do. And normally the bags are sold 7 kilos, 12 kilos, and 15 kilos. So for a small dog, a 15 kilo bag will last you a very long time. But for a dog that's above 45 kilos and over, you could be doing as much as 500 grams to a kg of food per day, dry food. So like if you have a dog that has a maximum weight of maybe 70 kilos, maybe you'll be feeding it 1 kilo a day of dry food or 1.5 kilos, also depending on the activity level of the dog. The cost of pet feed has really gone high. That's also because we have very few local players in the market that are making the dry food. And most of what is available in the supermarket is imported. And you know, imports don't favor when the dollar is high, the import costs are also high. So that has translated to higher costs of the dry dog food. Now, also the fact that fuel prices have gone high has also impacted the price of wet food. The meat that we get from the slaughterhouses has also gone high because the guys that are slaughtering and the guys who are selling animals are also having challenges in the inputs of feeds. So the cost has gone high on both ends. Yeah. So like food which we were buying 10 years ago at 40 shillings a kilo, that is the off-cut meat from the slaughterhouse, is now about 100 to 150, sometimes 110, depending on who your supplier is and how you've negotiated. Like you see, if you're buying bulk, people who are buying above 100 kilos or 500 kilos per week will get larger discounts, but the price is still high. Dog food, the dries that we are buying at around maybe 3,500 to 4,000. Now it's between maybe 6,500 to 8,000 and even 10,000 to 12,000, depending on the protein content and whether it's puppy food or adult food. Generally, adult feeds are cheaper than puppy food because puppies require more proteins and other stuff for them to come up to the age, to the right size. For me, I actually advise that if you can and if you have the time, you should feed your dog on natural food. The meat, the bones, the intestines, and stuff like that is the best diet for a dog. But you see, because we are also looking at economics, we have to think about the time it takes you to prepare the food. Like if you're working and you stay with your dog in an apartment, maybe you won't have time to cook for it every day. That's why now the convenience of the dry food comes in. But if you have the time and you have the resources, I'd actually advise people to do the natural diet. It's the best diet for a dog. Back then, it was easy for us to even 100% rely on dry feeds because it's not cumbersome in terms of preparation. You just come and you place it in the bowl and you put water on the side. But now we have to forgo those comforts and mix a mixture of dry and natural food. So we are relying on things like broken rice and meat from the butcheries as well, from the slaughterhouse in bulk. Yeah, so it's not as easy as before where you had a choice of, let's say, okay, fine, I have X amount of dog, it's cheaper for me to do dry food, because when I compare even the cost of cooking for them, the guy who is cooking and serving them, labor and fuel for cooking the food, it would be about the same price. Now the disparity is much larger. So I have had to become creative as per the dogs that I'm having and as per their caloric needs daily. When you're looking out for a dog that is sick, you have to look at its features also. Sometimes checking the nose will be one of the best indicators, because a healthy dog should have a wet nose. Their nose is very sensitive and it stays wet most of the time because it has a lot of cells concentrated there, so it's normally lubricated naturally by the body. So you look for a wet nose, you look for a happy and jolly predisposition. Dogs are some of the happiest creatures in this world. Like dogs are just happy full time. Yeah. So when the dog is dull, the nose is dry, and then if you check the eyes are not bright, things like that, it could be an indication that this dog is suffering from something. Then you can also go further and check the gums. If you interact with your dog daily, you will note that the gums are a certain color, not extremely pink, not extremely pale. So if you check the eyes and you find out that the eyes are jaundiced, they're lacking proper pigmentation, and also the gums are pale, that could be a key indication that the dog is suffering from an infection or some disease of some sort. Also, but for professionals, for people who have had dogs for a long time, you can always place your finger inside the ear. If it's very hot, that could mean the dog is running a fever. The best thing I always advise people is, if you don't know how to check for signs, call a vet. That is just the foolproof method of knowing whether a dog is sick or not. A dog that is sick, especially if it's extremely sick, will refuse food, and dogs love food. So by the time your dog is refusing to eat, I mean, you need to rush it to the vet. That is something really, really serious.